After helping dozens of clients lose weight over the last 5 years, I've learned some of the best ways to not just lose weight, but also keep that weight off long term. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 7 of the best pieces of weight loss advice that actually work so you can stop wasting your time on quick fixes that never really do anything. If you're new here, welcome and thanks for spending your time with me. My name's Noah and I've been a full-time personal trainer for the last 5 years after graduating from my bachelor's of kinesiology. And I'm just trying to cut through all the bullshit that's out there in the fitness industry and simplify things so that you can lose weight in the easiest way possible. And if that sounds good to you, let's dive right in. And there's not a specific order to any of these tips, but they are all gonna help you in their own little way. So that said, the first one is you have to stop looking for quick fixes, because quick fixes are never the answer and they're never gonna work. And I get it, you wanna lose weight as fast as you possibly can, just because you wanna get to that end goal. But by focusing on quick fixes, you're never gonna actually build the habits necessary for the long-term sustainable weight loss. In fact, only looking for quick fixes is gonna ruin your long-term progress altogether, because those foundational habits are what's gonna help you keep that weight off. Without those foundational habits, whenever you stop doing whatever quick fix was promised to you online, you're just gonna go back to what you were doing before. And to put it bluntly, what you were doing before it wasn't getting the job done. So when you go back to that, you're gonna start putting that weight back on, which is why you need to build the foundational habits. And then you need to track other forms of progress, because I see way too many people just get hung up on that number on the scale. But that scale is only one measurement, and there are so many other ways to improve than just that number on the scale. Because if you're just starting out and you start to build some muscle while you're losing a bit of fat, that scale can be very deceiving. Because you've probably heard that muscle weighs more than a pound of fat, and that's not entirely true. What weighs more, a pound of bricks or a pound of feathers? That's a trick question because both weigh a pound. But that pound of bricks is more dense, so that pound of bricks is gonna take up way less space than that pound of feathers would. And it's a similar case when it comes to muscle and fat. Muscle would be the bricks because it's more dense, it takes up less space. So when you're building muscle, the scale is very deceiving because you could be plateauing as for that number on the scale. So you need to focus on other forms of progress, like, is your strength improving? Are your clothes fitting better? Are you starting to see some more muscle tone or definition? Are you looking in the mirror and you're just a little more happy with your body? Because those are all ways that you can improve without the number on the scale necessarily changing. So don't get caught up in only focusing on that number on the scale. The next piece of advice that I can give you is that walking is so underrated when it comes to weight loss, because you actually burn way more calories in a day from your basic movements than you do from calories you burn from exercise in the gym. Because what people fail to even think about too is that walking is way less of a commitment than going to the gym and doing hard cardio. Because going on a daily walk around the block is so much more enjoyable than going to the gym every day and going on something like the Stairmaster. Because the average person is gonna give up on that Stairmaster after only a week or two, maybe a month. But going on daily walks is just a way lower barrier to entry. Because not only is it more sustainable, which means you're gonna keep doing it long term, which again goes to building those foundational habits to keep that weight off, but because it's less of a barrier and feels like less effort, you're way more likely to keep doing it long term. And then building muscle is a cheat code to not just losing weight, but to keeping weight off long term. Because what a lot of people don't know is that you burn most of your calories in a day from just existing. And building muscle can help increase the amount of calories that you burn just existing, because it takes more to maintain muscle than it does to maintain fat. So by building muscle, you increase the amount of calories you burn sitting on the couch binging your Netflix at night or whatever it is that you're doing, which means you get to eat more to maintain your weight, which makes losing weight so much easier when you don't feel like you're constantly starving yourself. And then building muscle decreases your joint pain, meaning you're gonna have less pain day to day, which makes you want to move more, which burns more calories right there. And it also just makes you feel so much better about yourself. Now, the next piece of advice goes along with building muscle, but eating protein makes staying in a calorie deficit so much easier because protein is going to keep you fuller than any other macronutrient. I dare you to try and eat 2,500 calories of pure protein. I bet you can't do it. And protein also helps you build muscle, which, as you know now, is a cheat code to losing weight. And because it's keeping you fuller, it's gonna make you way less likely to overeat, which is why it makes staying in your calorie deficit so much easier. And then what so many people get wrong is you don't have to entirely cut out foods you enjoy. Let's put it this way. Do you want to be miserable for the rest of your life? I hope you said no to that. Otherwise, I don't really want to be around you. But the ideal healthy version of you is going to vary drastically from person to person because not everybody has the same body composition goals. Some people want to get down below 10% body fat. Others are okay in the high teens because it's all about compromising with what you want to get to. Like, let's say that you unwind every night by having a glass of wine. And if you were to cut out that glass of wine, you would be completely miserable. Well, to get to below 10% body fat, that would be something you have to do. But maybe that's not a compromise you want to make. Because when it comes to our body composition and making lifestyle changes, mental health is a big proponent of our overall health that gets neglected a lot by people online. And when I'm working with my clients, it's a constant push-pull trying to figure out what we want to cut out and what we want to keep in so that they can make progress, but so that they can also not be miserable for their life, because that's just not enjoyable, and honestly, it isn't sustainable to do long term. Because not everybody's going to be the bodybuilder that wants to get to 5% body fat and compete on stage, which is the last piece of advice that I have for you. You want to find the balance for where you want to be. Not everybody's is going to be the same. If you were to do the things like that bodybuilder you see on stage, you might be depriving yourself way too much and be miserable. It's okay to have different goals from people you see online because you want to find the balance that works for you. If you can strength train and get strong and be in the 20% body fat range, it doesn't matter that you see someone that's 5% online because you're happy with where you're at. Everybody's goal is going to be different. And those are the 7 best pieces of weight loss advice that I can give to you. I really hope that helped you. If you did, you'll probably like this video here. Until then, I'll see you next week. Peace.